Hello to everyone. Good evening to you. This is Joanna, and this evening I'd like to share some empties that I have with you. It's a variation of food and body care and other items because I have done some Bath and Body Works videos and I have done some non-Bath and Body Works body care videos. So this is going to be a little bit of mix of everything here that I have gone through over the last couple of months. I do have some hand creams that I went through, but I tend to cut the tubes on those, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So I don't know if they're in here or not. If they are, I will have a piece of them left. I have some wallflowers. The first thing I'm going to start with is this. I generally buy these 2 and 3 at a time. Sometimes you shake these up and then they work. Sometimes they do not. This one is completely empty. So this one, and I use these a lot. Any of you out there that light up candles on the regular, you go through these fairly quickly. The next item I have is my pumpkin spice coffee from Dunkin Donuts. Now this item here I have had before in the regular coffee. This go around I decided to try it in the K-Cups, and I've never really been a big fan of this coffee. I heard someone say that they loved it. I bought it in ground form when I got my friend. You hear me talk about Sharon a lot. She used to be in the housekeeping department here at this apartment. We were friends for years. She left and moved to Ohio, and I sent her a pumpkin package one year. In fact, I was showing a lot of the stuff on here. And so I got one of those for her and decided I would try it too, because you've heard me say before, I was always giving her gifts of pumpkin because she loved pumpkin, but I didn't get into it until the last few years that I sent her something. So now there are some pumpkin items that I like. This, however, I don't hate this, and I would buy it again if it was on sale, but I will not go out and get it on purpose. Now, I do have things here at home that I doctor this up with. Of course, you know I have creamer. You have your sugar. I've got those latte foams. I have my allspice, cinnamon, vanilla powder, nutmeg, and I'll tend to mix up my own little version of a latte here at home, but I just don't think it tastes quite as good as the ones that you get out, like at Starbucks. I do like those, even though they're a strong coffee as well. But I don't hate this. I just wouldn't go out on my own and get it. And I don't know why stuff is coming out of here. But I did finish up this whole pack. I just accidentally threw the box away because I'll take a lot of my boxes and break them down. This is a cream, and I'm going to cut this because it is empty to the point of where I can't squeeze anything out. But a tip that I'd like to share with you that is my tip solely, and I know and feel like it's my tip solely because I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. Once I started watching YouTube, I started searching on YouTube to see if anyone else was doing this. I have 2 hacks that I would say that I do with my body creams. One of them I'm going to share with you here. And that is, even though I'm saying this is empty, and I'm fairly sure it is, no matter how you squeeze this out, nothing comes out, or I've really got to shake it like this and then try to squeeze it out. But generally, when you get to a body tube cream, or even a tube like this, when you cut the tip off, you've got a lot of product in there. Now, if you have too much product to use up and you don't have a family member to share that little bit with, like say there's enough in here for like several more uses, maybe 3 or 4. What you do is, because you've cut the tip off, see that air gets in there. What you want to do to keep that air from getting in there is any drawer you have where someone's not going to come along and pull it out. Because if you've got kids, they might come along, hey, mom, this was sticking out of your drawer. You don't want anyone to pull this out. So you just cut the tip off. Because I feel like the product is down here, I would probably cut it off along here. You want to leave enough room so that you can shut it up in a drawer. And I tell you this works because, like I said, I've been doing it since I was 14. And you know, when you're 14, you don't do something because you know about it. You do something by accident, happenstance, you just happen to do it. So you cut the tip of this off, which I am going to plan to do to make sure this is empty, and then you use whatever's left. You cut the tube down as you need to, but you always leave enough to just open up whatever drawer you have that you're not going to go in and nobody else is going to go in, and you just sit this down, you know what I mean, and close the drawer so that it's sticking out like that, and that preserves your cream. So I tell a lot of people that, especially with your thicker creams, when you think that tube is empty, especially if you cannot see through it, before you throw it out, cut the tip. Sometimes with a smoother traveling cream, it really will be empty, but sometimes there's a lot left in the base. Like you're really squeezing and squeezing and all you're getting is air, and then you cut it, and then you've got like another couple of days of use out of that. So that's one little thing that I do. So before I toss it, I'm going to put it aside to do that with it. This right here, I finished up this, and there's only 2 of these in here. I tend to buy these 4 packs at a time. You've heard me talk about this. This was a snack I used to like to make for my kids that week of Christmas week. They equate this, even though they're older now, they equate this with that Christmas time. A lot of times I would make this maybe like 4 or 5 days before Christmas. They'd have company over. They'd be all cleaned up in their little sleepwear, watching the little Christmas movies, and we would bring this out. However, the one thing I think beats this is if you guys know how to make homemade caramel corn. I love caramel corn, though, around Christmas time. And I don't like the kind in the bag that's hard and crunchy. I like this kind. And I think someone that I follow, Laura Vitale, she made some. She shows you how to make it homemade on a cookie sheet. And I haven't tried that, but I need to. But this really works in a pinch, and it's pretty good. And then one of the next, I got 2 bags here. One this stuff is coming out of, and then one I'm trying to put it in. Of course, I finished up my Coffee Mate Toasted Marshmallow Mocha Creamer. I do go through these a whole lot, especially during the 3 days that I work, because I often pour off more than a couple of teaspoons, or I should say tablespoons. I pour about this much into those Go Cups that I have. And then I take it into work, and I use the coffee at work because the coffee at work is unbearable. It's even worse than the coffee that I make, and my coffee is like hit or miss. But their coffee is way worse. I've also managed to finish up a bath bomb. Now, I finished up a few of these, but this was the one that I was able to retain the label from. This is a this is a pink Victoria's Secret one. I'm so used to saying Bath and Body Works. A pink bath bomb in the fragrance Bright Daisy. It didn't smell like a daisy to me, and I do like these in the bath water. I would not repurchase this one. I tend to like the Bath and Body Works ones as far as the ones I can get my hands on here. And as far as ordering, I like the Green Bubblerine from Lush. But I've been on their website recently, and I don't think they make that one anymore. They had another one that had rose in it and an orange one. And they do still have their Comforter Bar, and they do still have Blue Skies. But I haven't seen the Green Bubblerine. But I do like the Bath and Body Works one since I can get my hands on those first. I finished up a French Vanilla Creamer. Creamer I used to have until it goes bad, and now I go through it before I know it. Another creamer that I finished up. This is the Cinnamon Vanilla Cream. This is the one you heard me say that I got because I thought that it was my creme brulee. It was sitting like this in the freezer at the store. So when I picked it up, I didn't even notice this right here. I was basically looking at the color. And it was along the color of my creme brulee. And then when I got it home, and I think I was showing it on here in a haul video, I realized that it was cinnamon vanilla. I'm not too crazy about cinnamon. I don't hate it, but I found that I don't like cinnamon coffee creamer. I don't even like Mexican chocolate or Mexican coffee. And that's just coffee or chocolate with cinnamon in it. But I do like cinnamon. I guess I just like it in apple dishes and other things. I did finish up this. You hear me talking about this all the time. Green tea, and I often refer to it as white tea, but it is not white. And it's a nice light drink that you can put fruit in of your choosing. This next one is sample sizes. And the thing of it is, this came in a little kit, and this was an actual sample. At one point, I was going to do a video of samples that I've actually bought in full size. Some other people did that video. I saw that after I thought of it, because I kind of thought that was my original idea, and it was not. Kind of like that time I thought that I invented something with... What was it that I had? I did something with a Tangeray product and cranberry juice and a lime and thought I invented something, and it already existed as a Cape Codder. But anyway, I do like this a lot, and I've noticed that the Lancome brand has face masks out that are at a reasonable price comparable to the other face masks that are out. I saw those at Ulta. I plan on trying those. However, I do plan on getting this in full size. And what I like about the Lancome brand is a lot of their products are true to what they say. They are a brand that I truly believe in. If something says it will help keep wrinkles away or it will help straighten out a skin problem, I believe them in that. They've been around since I've been in high school. So is Estee Lauder and Clinique. But I love the Lancome Re-Energy Cream. This is back when I was like maybe 25, 26. I was always getting the Re-Energy Cream in samples because I bought mascara. I don't have a drugstore mascara that I like. I currently am on the hunt down for one. Every one I try, I dislike. All the mascaras that I like and love are of the high-end variety. Lancome Defensals was one. Hypnose was one. The Big Fatty by Urban Decay. I did not like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara at first, and then I started, trying it more and paying attention to it, so I like it. But I need to find me a nice little $7.99 or $8.99 mascara at the drugstore. But this product right here, I do plan on trying, and I will say this about Clinique creams. Their creams, the Re-Energy cream was a face cream, but because I had oily skin, I don't know if it broke me out or it attributed to the breakouts that I was having, but I would use it in my under eye area. And as a woman, I feel like our age starts in our under eye area. I know some things are heredity and some things are not. However, I feel like if we get puffiness under our eyes, it doesn't go away, or if we get wrinkles and lines under our eyes, I feel like that is where our age shows. Because a lot of times you'll see someone and you'll think, oh my God, they look tired, and you'll look at their eye area that makes them look older, versus if they're able to take care of that eye area. So I will say this, and just for myself, because I used that Re-Energy cream under my eye area, and I always worried because I would always wake up, I would sleep on my face. Like no matter how I went to sleep, I would wake up and my face would be smushed into the pillow. This has been since childhood. So sometimes I'd have a little line there, or I'd have puffiness there. And I got scared thinking, once I hit my 30s that was going to stick around. I used that eye cream, and I was always given one in a sample. And it does wonders. I really do like it. So if I ever had a tip to give to women as far as what area they should take care of, mine would always be the under eye, because I feel like for myself, that's where age shows up at. And it always just makes you look brighter. But this is a great product, and this was the Advanced Genifique Youth Activating Concentrate. Now, I do know their products are expensive, because that Re-Energy cream at that time was $68, and I think now it's like 80 or 90 something, but I do still want to get this. And then I had this Peter Thomas Roth, and this was their Blackmore Irish Moor Mud. I like this a lot. However, I would say don't keep it too long, because I had this sample so long and I must not have had the lid on it tight enough that it began to roll up when I would put it on. But while it was in its fresh form, this mud was really, really great. And I think they might make an Irish Moor face wash. But I'm definitely going to get that mud. I finished up a candle. In fact, I think I might have finished up two. And that is the Eucalyptus Stress Relief. And I also finished up a flannel. This was the flannel that I got last year. They had a smell in the Bath and Body Works store that made me stop in my tracks. At that time, I was certain that it was the vanilla and patchouli fragrance, and they said, no, it's flannel. And I mentioned this on a video that I did then. I said, well, I guess they would know what they were burning in the store. But guys, that scent, whatever they were burning, and I'm still not sure it was this because it didn't smell the same when I lit it here at home. I believe it might have been a mix, because they did have comfort burning at one end of the store, and they had flannel up front, and then they had a bulb somewhere in the middle of the store. But whatever that fragrance was, guys, it made me just stand there and just inhale deeply. And I'm talking about a smile on my face. If you were incoming in the store, you'd have thought I was just right retarded based on what you would have seen. I was just standing in that area and I was just inhaling. That scent was so comforting that, I had to find out what it was. And they said it was this, but I really think it was all of them. So I do have the comfort candle. Even though you hear me say that I go in and out about patchouli, I think I'm going to light that one up next and see. So I finished up this flannel and this. Now you see I got a little bit of this left in here. I'm going to go ahead and throw this away. But I got this much in my ski lodge that you always hear me talking about. Yeah, I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to cut those pieces out of there, and I'm going to put it in my warmer, because I have two warmers I've hauled on here that I have not used at all. And as far as the stress relief, the Eucalyptus Spearmint, I have this in body care, but I have it in the body care that came out when Mahogany Teakwood came out. And that year that the Mahogany Teakwood first came out in body care, it came out for us. And I said they should have packaged that for men, because what that smelled like to me was like I was trying to smell like my husband or whatever. And so they did come out with it again, and they did come out with it packaged for men, which is how it should have been to begin with. But I will say this. The hand soap, they had a hand soap that year. I bought 4. And someone that I gave one to kept asking for one, and I kept giving them one until I realized I had one left. I had given my 3 away. When I went to the store to get some more of it, it was gone. So They didn't bring that back out in hand soap anymore after that. So I have the one mahogany teak with hand soap. So this year when they're coming out with the gingerbread hand soap and the twisted peppermint, I'm going to make sure I get those. And I like the gingerbread that's coming out this year. I haven't smelled it, but based off the notes that are on it compared to my gingerbread I have now, I'm hoping it will be more authentic, because I mentioned that I have the gingerbread hand gel pocket bag and it is authentic. It's got the little gingerbread man on it. I hauled it a while ago with the gingerbread man pocket bag holder. But anyway, I went through these two candles. The next thing that I used up was I finally got through this La Vanilla, and a big dent was put in this when my daughter was here a couple summers ago and she was using it, so I was glad for that. And I was also using a cap full of this as a bubble bath. So if you have a shower gel that you're trying to get rid of, maybe you don't like it anymore, or you're trying to make sure you use it up, if you happen to run bubble baths, just pour a couple of capfuls of that into the tub with your bubble bath and you'll use it up. So when I wasn't using it as a shower gel, I did use it as a bubble bath additive. And this stuff is very potent. When I first got it, you could smell this through everything. No matter what lotion that I would use, and I would use my unscented lotion, you could smell this through everything. And this was from Sephora. And this used to be a popular product. I think a lot of people like the La Vanilla Grapefruit. I liked this one in the coconut. And I think they made another one. I also finally finished up the Rice Flour Shea body cream that I had. This was the longest lasting body cream, and it didn't go bad because, guys, I bought this back when my son was little. He might have been like 7 or 8, and everybody knows I done said he's 19 now. But the cream was still good, but my packaging, look at this. This packaging was beaten and cracked. I finished up my cinnamon tea. This is my absolute favorite cinnamon tea. This is the one I couldn't think of because I do buy the Twinnings too, but this is the Bigelow cinnamon stick, and I often get their little pack, variety packs. So I like the Constant Gourmet. I think it's called Constant Gourmet. Whatever it is, it's like a bold orange spice tea. I love that in the heart of the winter. And then they make a lemon one that I like when I get sick. And we'll move on to the rest of the stuff. So the Rice Flour Shea was from my box of things I wanted to use up. Also, I have this, fresh water and cucumber. If they were going to bring back a returning scent in its original form, this is another one that I would wish for. I've seen a lot of people do Bath and Body Works videos where they've talked about favorite fragrances of all time, and there are different variations on those videos, but I feel like in order to do a favorite fragrance of all time, they should be quite familiar with some of the older scents. Now, that's not going to be always possible because a lot of people get into Bath and Body Works at different times. This, however, and me having been going in there since 1996, and I feel like this is one that is one of their great scents. This was one that was considered one of their fresh scents at the time. If they ever made this again and it had its original smell, I would buy it in every single form that they make it in. Really great scent. Another one that they make here is Soothing Oatmeal Hand Soap. Now, this was one of my newer soaps that I got, the Sandalwood and Suede. I did like this, but I'm not a fan of the creamy soaps, and you've heard me say that before. I feel like they stick around, especially if I'm doing nail care. I really, truly like the foaming. Now, when I first got into Bath and Body Works soaps, I did like the creamy soaps, but I found they made my hands super dry considering they were creamy. And at that time, they made Kitchen Spice and a herb one, and they were scrubby, which I always say that I love a scrubby soap at the kitchen sink. I don't mind that, and I will often, even if I'm buying several soaps, I will often make sure one of them is a scrubby for the kitchen. I don't care what fragrance it is. It doesn't have to be the lemon. It doesn't have to be a kitchen scent, just long as it's scrubby. And then I also finished up this right here, and I just got done talking about this. Anytime I have a cold, this is what I get. And the little backstory on this is, back when I worked at the job that's closest to where I live here, and you hear me talk about my friend Carla that lives in Oklahoma. She's a nurse, and I think her husband works for a pharmaceutical company. He's the one with the job that moves around from state to state. And so she works as a nurse in whatever state they end up going in. She was one of the nicest nurses that I have ever had the pleasure to work with. And I got sick one night. And I mean, I couldn't talk, guys. I was just so sick. Like, I wasn't sick enough to where I needed to go to a doctor, but I wasn't very far from that. And she got me some of this. I don't know if it was the same version, but it was Theraflu and it was red. She gave me this, guys, and I remember I came home in the cab that night and I left it in the cab, and the cab driver was so kind as to bring it back to me. And I took this, guys, and you talking about somebody that felt better, because I was not weekends at that job then, but I think I was off that weekend that was upcoming. And I felt so much better. And I thought, when a nurse, another nurse, you know what I mean, gives you something, then that mattered. And it helped me to the point of where I always take this, because at the time I was taking the Theraflu powder, and I had told her I was sick and I couldn't go to the store is what it was. I was already at work. I couldn't leave and go to the store. She was coming in 2 hours early, and when she came in, she brought me this, and I took it an hour before it was time for me to get off, because cold medicine makes me sleepy even if it's non-drowsy. And so this did wonders, and I've been buying it ever since. Every time I see it, if you have a bad cold, give this a try. I never ever take regular cold medicine. Even if I've got a head cold and my nose is stuffy or it's running, I always take a flu medicine. I feel like, in my opinion, it knocks it out of me quicker. Don't know if that's true or not. That's just my opinion, and it could work because that's in my head. You often hear me say at work, the only things I can rely on is a box of puffs, some tea, some cough drops, and some orange juice. And I usually will take Ricola cough drops. Those are as medicine-y as I get. Or I will take the Luden's honey or cherry. Halls are a little bit too strong for me, but sometimes I will get a little pack of the cherry halls, and that works. But for the most part, they're too strong. And I really hate the smell of cherry halls, because so many people had colds when I was in high school. They thought those things smelled good, and what they were doing was blowing their cold, smelly breath and cherry in the air. So that's why I have an aversion to those. But I will say, anytime I take anything Dayquil, non-drowsy, it makes me drowsy. And all I have to rely on at work is just those simple things until I can get home and take medicine. But I really do like this a lot. And then next we have my Aleve. I do go through quite a bit of headache medicine, and I take Aleve on the regular, Excedrin. I have certain brands that I stay within. Motrin liquid gels, Motrin IB, Aleve. Excedrin is my #1 headache medicine. These I take mostly for body pain. Another something that I have, and this was a 100-point perk at Sephora. I am going to get this in full size. However, I feel like this is tacky, but I think I do like this for the winter time. And I do have another one of these somewhere around here. So here is an example of the creams that I finished up. This one was Kris Morningstar. I used to love Kris Morningstar. It smells exactly like it says. I do not hate it now. I just went ham on it when it first came out. I finally finished up this honey butter queen bee salted honey and vanilla. This is not salted honey and vanilla. Any of you that smelled this, you said that you smell apples. This was that apple and honey. Hands down, this was that apple and honey. There was no salted vanilla to this. I, however, had an aversion to the apple honey, but I did go ahead and use this up. When it got low enough, I cut this. And then this right here was another item from the box of things I wanted to use up. And this was my Vaseline Intensive Care Cocoa Butter. I do have a lotion in that. I did manage to use up, I believe, 3 face masks here. And I'm going to do another one tonight. I managed to use the See You Soon. I did the Revitalizing Red Wine one when I first got it. And then I have this If You Say So, because I've been trying to use my older ones to make room for my newer ones. And here I have this scrub, this argan scrub, and I do have the argan shower gel and body cream somewhere. But these are items that I got when I first started going to TJ Maxx and Marshalls a while ago. So these are maybe 2 years old. But I did manage to use that up. And I managed to use my Colgate Optic White. Now, I am not beholden to a certain toothpaste. If I was, I would basically have Ultra Bright, because that's been something I've been using since high school. But I did like the Colgate Herbal. However, when I got these, they were on sale. Toothbrushes and toothpaste are something I have an abundance of around here. And I mean, I do, because a lot of times when my kids wanted something or needed something when they were out of town, or they would call me up for something, it was always toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, soap, washes. That's why I keep a lot of that kind of stuff around. Now that my son is older, things like razors and shaving cream is included. But I'm not beholden to a certain toothpaste. However, when I see these, and not just this brand, but the Colgate here, the regular Colgate, the Crest White, the Crest that is whitening, any of those toothpaste, and even the Ultra Bright, I will often buy 5 and 6 of them at a time. So I do have plenty of toothpaste. I have a Juicy Watermelon pocket bag, and I have used these more when I take them to work. I use them way more, and I use them up when I take them to work. You guys have seen that big bag that I have. I'm ashamed of myself, but I'm working on it. And the last few things that I have here are mostly more pocket bags. But I did finish this. I believe this one was a mahogany teakwood that I had in my son's room. And I do try to use my ones with the points first. Yeah, this was mahogany teakwood. I do like that they made these like this and they're standing up now. But I am trying to use my ones with the points first because I have some of these that are older. Now, sometimes when they flail out like this beforehand, this happened after though. But I had one time when I opened it up, it was like this. They gave me another one at the store, but they couldn't like give me the same one because they were out of it. But someone on YouTube, and I have to look to see who that is telling you how to make these into an oil for your little oil burner. And I do have some Bath and Body Works oils. That one that was called shortbread that everybody agreed smelled like sugar lemon cookies. The next ones that I have here is unicorn, and this smelled delicious, guys. Like, I had this for a while, and a lot of these I never know how good they smell until after I use them. And this one was fizzy fruit pop, and I mean, I was like using this like, oh my god, that smells so good, and other people thought so too. This one was Spooktacular Fearsome Fresh, more for the guys because it had a cologne scent. This one, of course, was the Marshmallow Fireside that my label's all messed up on. I will get a couple more of these if they come out with them this year. And then, of course, a Sorry I'm Latte. Now, I do have a lot of pocket bags and hand creams that match. And I don't know if any of you want to see them, but I have hauled them on here. It is now a giant bag as well. And the last thing I have that I have been going bonkers over is this eggnog tea. I think I found this when I was sick. And what's weird is it's a brown tea, which all tea is brown, I know, but it has that brown tea flavor, if you guys know what I mean. I know that's an odd thing to say. I love this. It did not necessarily taste like eggnog, and it didn't taste like rum and eggnog, but it had a great flavor. And when I hauled this for you guys, I think I bought like 3 or 4. I think I found it on sale for $1.77. I bought a couple and I've been buying it ever since. However, I may be on my last 1 or 2 boxes, and I'm going to see if I can find it this year. And this is by the brand Bigelow as well. And it says it's an exceptional winter tea, all natural. And it doesn't list what the flavor is, but I don't think it tastes like eggnog and rum, but it is a really good tea. Another favorite that I like is cherry vanilla that I used to like to drink on snowy days. Those snowy days when I was fortunate enough to be off work on the day that it snowed. Because years ago, I did not do weekends. I worked Monday through Friday at one job, and it snowed really, really bad during the weekday. And then at another job, I worked every other weekend. And then you had maybe Thursday, and I think I was off then maybe Thursday of the weekend that I worked, and then Tuesday, until eventually I was Friday and Monday of the weekend that I worked. But these are nice teas when you are snowed in and you just want to relax. So that was all that I had. I just wanted to share my empties with you guys. And I'm going to try to use more of my Bath and Body Works products up, but I'm using several things up. So until the next time, everyone have a great day. If there's something else you'd like to see from me, please let me know. I do plan on coming back doing a nail stamping look. I don't know what it is I want to do yet. It'll probably be during the week because I plan on using a green when I take off this right here that I have on. It's this Stardust polish by Julep. And these are just like the pixie dust. You guys know, if you like the Pixie Dust by Zoya, a lot of companies just use different names. I think for Sally Hansen, it was Sugar Coat. This one, Stardust. Zoya's Pixie Dust. So until the next time, though, everyone have a great day.